Hey everybody, Pastor Mike here, coming to you with our reopening plan. What I want you to know about this is we are shooting for target dates. So the governor has rolled out his 5-step process. We are in stage 2, and some of the dates are very significant that we are going to follow along on. Now, we made this decision very prayerfully, and we've literally spent hours and hours and hours talking over this scenario, getting counsel from people in the city, some city officials, in fact, and just trying to use best practice for you as our church community, us as our church community. And, we want to be good citizens of this city. So we're not going to come back too quickly and appear reckless, but we're also not going to stay gone too long and appear fearful, okay? Here's the plan. We are going to have our very first Sunday back in the building on June 14th. The reasoning behind this is that is where the mask restrictions lift, the social distancing lifts. At that point, movie theaters, restaurants are going to be at like 75% capacity. We didn't want to have a service in May or even early June where every person in the building had to be 6 feet apart, had to wear face masks, had to wear gloves, and we couldn't allow people in who were over 65 years old. We would literally have to police this and turn people away. We would have had to have digital ticketed signups that you would have had to show at the door, so we couldn't go over capacity. And you know what, you guys, the church is supposed to be a beacon of unity and hope. And we want to have a unified service as soon as we can. That would not be an enjoyable experience for anybody. And so, although you hear June 14th, which is, 5-6 weeks away still, we don't want you to get discouraged. We really don't, because here's what's going to happen. We know that we're all just desperately missing community. So, with that being said, all of our city group restrictions are going to lift, where we encourage you to be in person, just in backyards or in parks. If you're not comfortable with that, just continue your Zoom city groups. Our student ministries are able to come back and meet in person, outside at parks or in backyards, so they can stay a safe distance away from each other as well. So our building is going to remain closed until June 14th so we can properly clean it. We can properly finish up our construction projects, and we can welcome everybody back in with wide open arms, all right? So the only downside to this, if there is one, is we cannot open up our city kids until July. What we're doing is we are following the school system structure, which keeps all school systems closed until June 30th. So our very first weekend in July is when we can open our city kids back up. Now, what that means for you as parents is if you feel like you could come and experience a service with your child sitting on your lap or with your children sitting with you in a seat next to you, then please, by all means, come, 9:15 or 11:15. But if you feel like, it would be such a distraction to me and to the people around me, my child won't sit on my lap for that hour, then we're just going to encourage you to continue to worship the way that you have been, and that is through our online church platform. And so the other option is we are going to make City Kids the large room available. If you want to be here and your child maybe starts to get restless, you can walk your child back into the large room of City Kids. We can display the service up on the screen for you, but you'll be able to hang out in there with your children. Now listen, all of you are adults, and we want you to make adult decisions. Do we want all of you to come back the first week? Absolutely. We miss seeing you. But you have to make that decision for yourself. We know that there's going to be some slower reentry for some people. We know that some are going to come right back and not think twice. That's okay, because you have to make a decision what's best for your family. For our church family, this is what we feel like is best for them. So with that being said, let me do a few recaps, and then we're going to tell you about some of the events we're going to do. June 14th is our first official Sunday that we're targeting for back in the building. If the governor changes things and regresses some of the steps, we will have to adjust at that point. But we're praying against that. We're praying that all of this continues to move forward and that we can be back together on that day in June 14th. The second thing is our city kids will open back up in July. Okay, so there'll just be a few week period of time where those of you with young children, we encourage you to come if you can hang out with them, not be a distraction to you or you or others, and they would be able to benefit from the service. Please come on, bring them. If not, and you would feel like you would not get much out of it or whatever, just continue to worship online. That's okay. It's just a few more weeks. City groups, restrictions have been lifted. We are back in person in backyards and in parks. Then, July 4th weekend. Well, you know what? I'm not going to get to that yet. May 24th at 4 o'clock, that is a Sunday, we are going to do a parking lot worship service with baptisms. We have a few people that need to get baptized. We are going to do them live. We are going to mark out in the parking lot what 6 feet squares are. So we want to encourage you to bring your lawn chairs or whatever. We're going to sit in the parking lot. We're going to have our team leading us in some worship music. We are going to have baptisms, and then we're going to go home. It's going to be awesome. But then July 5th, that Sunday, right after the second service, we are going to have an epic blowout party in our parking lot, okay? It's going to be a comeback party. So we want you to invite everybody you know, and we want you to bring them along and celebrate with us. The last thing we're doing is when you see this video, there is a link that is going to be coming out to you. We want you to text and be a part of this survey that we're doing so we can know the best way to serve you, okay? So, love you guys. Looking forward to seeing you. I hope this answered all your questions. If it didn't, just reach out to us and we'll do our best to answer them, okay? Love you guys. Bye.